We are going to solve a paper 2 short question about counting principles. I expect that now you stop the video and make sure that you read the whole question carefully. For the first part A, we need to arrange the 12 students in the 12 available desks, so we just need to see how many ways we can rearrange 12 objects. So we need to find what is 12 factorial. So we are finding permutations of 12 objects, and you can find that with the calculator. I'm just gonna here leave the questions ready for you to solve, to find the final result in the calculator, but I'm not going to do the calculator work. So for A, just need to find what is 12 factorial, so 12 times 11 times 10 and so on, and you know how to do that with your calculator. For part B, there are two students that we may want to sit them one directly behind the other. For instance, we may want to sit them in desk 1 and 2, or 2 and 6, or 3 and 7, or 4 and 8. So for the 4 desks in the first row, we can sit one in the first row and the other one right behind. We can also do that with the middle row, so we can sit them in 5 and 9, 6 and 10, 7 or 11, or 12, 8 and 12. We can't really sit the first one in desk 9 because then there isn't a spot for the other one to be right behind. So, in other words, we have, if we only consider the first desk, the one that is in the front, we have 8 possibilities. We have them here, we count to desk 1, desk 2, so on up to 8. But once we decide on which pair of desks we are using, then we need to change the order of students. So we need to multiply by 2 because we don't know if we are sitting Nick and Helen behind, or we are sitting Helen and then Nikki behind. So that's where that 2 comes from. It's nice to explain a little bit also where this 8 comes from. So I'm going to draw here the 12 possible spaces, and I want to show the 8 that we are considering here. Just think about the person trying to correct this. It's nice to have a little bit of an explanation. Well, so far we made sure we know where to sit Helen and Nikki, but we still have 10 more students and they can sit in any of the 10 spots that are left in any possible way. So we have 10 factorial. So we need to find what is 16 times 10 factorial, and as I say, go to your calculator and find that. For the last part, we want to find the number of ways we can arrange students if Helen and Nick must not sit next to each other in the same row. So for instance, we don't want to have one in the desk 1 and the other in the desk 2. That's not good for us. So one thing we can do, that's not the only way to solve it, but just in one way, we can find in how many ways we can sit them next to each other, and we can subtract that number from all the possible ways we can sit them. So we don't want the sit next to each other, so we subtract those from all the possible ways of arranging them that we already found on part A. So we need to find how many ways we can sit them next to each other. Well, again, let me draw 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first row. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Those are the desks. Now, let's say, well, we can take the first desk and the second and the third, and the third and the fourth, but not the fourth and something else because there's nothing next to the fourth desk. So there are 3 options in the first row. Same way, there are exactly 3 options in the second row. That will be if we sit them in 5 and 6, 6 and 7, and 7 and 8. So here there are 3, here there are 3, and there are 3 more in the last rows. 9 and 10, 10 and 11, 11 and 12. So there are 9 ways that we can pick 2 desks to sit them next to each other. Now, once we pick the 2 desks, we can sit Helen on the left and Nikki on the right, or the other way. So we have 2 ways, so 2 times 9. And after we do that, we will have sit Helen and Nikki, but we still have 10 more students, so that's why we need to multiply by 10 factorial. to find all the possible ways of seating those 10 other students. So now, if we want to find how many ways they can sit if they must not sit together, we need to find what is 12 factorial, that's all possible ways, minus 18 times 10 factorial, and go to your calculator and find that.